You're a healthcare provider. Follow me. You're a healthcare provider, and you see a person come to you, 75, 80 years old. That person has about maybe 4 or 5 children. They have 4 or 5 children, but they live by themselves, and they have stage 4 cancer. They've come to visit you about 3 or 4 times, and they always come by themselves. When they go for their different tests and assessments, when you talk to them, you hear that they always go by themselves. That healthcare provider who is going to be working or who sees a client like that is not going to be treated seriously. Let me say that again. Some of you have mothers and fathers and uncles and aunts, and they've been diagnosed with cancer. And there is no support for them. The healthcare provider who is working for them, you're sending a message that there's no support structure, there's no support system, and so almost anything that you recommend is not going to be taken seriously. When I have somebody who comes to visit us, if they're over a certain age, if they're sick, I say, how many children do you have? Give me a number now, and I call. Hey, how you doing? I'm with your mother, I'm with your father, so and so and so and so and so and so and so. It's very important that they have a support system or a support structure. When a person has cancer, one of the things that they need is a support system or a support structure. And I've talked about persons who have support structure, who have good support structure, but who are in depression, and their depression begins to now work as discouragement to their support structure. A lot of this happens because there's so much ignorance. There's so much ignorance. And a person, we've seen persons who provide that very good support, that support system, who don't understand how cancer affects somebody mentally, and they allow the person in that sick state mentally to impact them rather than them impacting the person who is sick. Simply because they don't understand what I call the emotional journey that a person goes through when they have cancer. There are some persons who literally feel that they don't deserve that much attention. There are some persons who don't mind the attention because this is the only time or the first time in their life that they're getting so much attention, and they're basking in it. But there are some persons, especially those persons who are independent, those persons who work for themselves, those persons who are always accustomed to doing things their way or for themselves, it can be very difficult for these persons to be in an incapacitated state or a dependent state, to see how they become the reason why persons become displaced and uncomfortable, that the guilt that they feel affects them psychologically and emotionally, that they become resistant, uncooperative to those persons who are helping them, financially, who are helping them emotionally, who are helping them spiritually. It's important for you to understand what happens to a person when they are going through that journey. There are some persons who they should be protected from certain persons. Persons who remind them how sick they look. Persons who don't have any faith in what they're doing. Persons who remind them how much weight they have lost. Persons who make statements that further drive persons in depression. You need to understand the importance sometimes of protecting a client from such an environment and from such a person. It becomes important because you understand how the disease affects the person psychologically or emotionally. We've seen, we do retreats. We do retreats where we take persons who have ailments and we have retreats to help them to improve. And one of the things that we do is that we normally put two persons in one room. And we find that when one person is in one room, it's very difficult to see any improvement. Usually when two persons share a room, they bounce energy off each other. Usually one person will see another person who has a condition or symptoms that puts them in a far worse situation that they're in. So that alone encourages them. Some persons are forced to be the encouraging person in that room. And so there's a reciprocity of information, reciprocity of energy. And so it's very important that there has to be a component that deals with how do you navigate the emotional journey of cancer. So that's week number 6. Week number 6, we look at that. In week number 7, we look at monitoring the progress and adjusting the treatment plan. We're going to be focusing on how to track treatment effectiveness and make necessary adjustments. The need for regular checkups, scans, follow-up care, ultrasounds, all that. It is necessary. Depending on the cancer, it is necessary. And we need to do this and then guess what? Sometimes initially, improvement means no change. Improvement don't necessarily mean that there's a change in the positive direction. Improvement sometimes means that there is no change. There is no progression. That is the reason why reasonable expectation is important. It's important that we understand what is reasonable to expect. Can you imagine a person who is sick, who was led to believe that after 1 month, everything is going to be okay, or most things are going to be okay, only to find out that nothing has changed. So, here's the good news. Because cancer is a degenerative disease. And so if after a month, there is no progression, it means that there's improvement. It's just that the improvement is a small improvement. And so if it is that was the expectation, then you wouldn't be disappointed. You wouldn't be discouraged because you have a reasonable expectation. And so that is the reason why it's important for us to go through this. And then in week 8, we'll be going through survivorship. If you survive, what are some things that you need to do to ensure that you still remain healthy, so that you still remain viable? And as I said, we'll be going through a lot of different activities. So it's not just going to be a lecture. It's not going to just be talking. So this evening at 7 is our workshop on what I call empowered healing. The goal is to empower persons to heal themselves, to empower persons to take responsibility, to be a part, to be included in the cancer treatment plan. So if you have an uncle, if you have an aunt, I believe that this is something that most churches, every church should have a representative in a program like this. Let me know if you guys support that. Every church, because a church is a place that is designed to offer support, especially spiritual support. So just I'll make the notes available, make the videos available. So if you're a part of a church, maybe the church could sponsor it, the church could pay for it. And then this could be a free service that the church could offer to persons who may become victims, in addition to the spiritual support, in addition to the prayer, in addition to all that counseling that the church can offer. a member of a church would be equipped. Thank you, Cynthia. A member of a church could be equipped to have this in their arsenal for potential members. So this could be something for the senior members, or it could be something for the men's ministry or the women's ministry, because cancer is not respective of age, nor gender, nor ethnicity. And what I'm saying is the greatest weapon against sickness and disease is education, not medication. It's not okay just to be able to pray for somebody when you could be in a position of helping them to be to know what are some options out there. Of course, prayer can never be left out, or spiritual intervention can never be left out. But in addition to spiritual intervention, in addition to prayer, in addition to meditation, in addition to positive affirmation, this could very well be another ministry tool that, if you're part of a church could have, your church could have, to say, hey, if you know of anybody with cancer, our ministry, our church has this workshop that we offer, and it's absolutely free. It's absolutely free. You don't have to pay. It's absolutely free. So you can commit for 8 weeks. Persons would I believe a lot of persons would take advantage of it, because you're giving persons a viable, tangible option other than just praying. You're giving them something that they can hold on to, something that gives them hope. And I know prayer does so much. But what I'll be sharing throughout this 8 weeks, and I know without the shadow of a doubt, is going to be an invaluable tool in helping you or helping a loved one who has cancer and who wants to get better. So we're going to be looking at survivorship care plans. What are some survivorship care plans in the 8th week? We're going to be looking at monitoring for recurrences and maintaining health. We're going to be looking at managing long-term side effects. We're going to be looking at nutrition. We're going to be looking at fitness. We're going to be looking at mental wellness for life after you've gone through a particular treatment. So this 8-week workshop for me is going to be an invaluable tool, as I said, going forward, in helping me to help more persons. My goal is always to help. And some persons, and I can tell you, some persons, there's a, they always say, wrong bus too fear, and this wrong bus too fear. For persons who don't value or don't understand what I'm sharing, a lot of you are going to end up avoiding it, only to find yourself in a position where this information is what you need or what you will need in order to help yourself, family member, or friend. Yes, Vitality Trends, these sessions will definitely be recorded, and they'll definitely be a part of our video archive where persons can watch them. As I said, one of the reasons why it is a private workshop is because we're going to be going into some sensitive information that I don't want to share publicly. All right, we'll be going into some very sensitive information, and that's one of the main reasons why we're doing this private workshop. And so it's really designed to there's going to be a Q&A, so we're going to be able to take questions. We're going to be able to share, and the goal is basically to equip persons so that they can make the change where necessary. So I'm excited about it. I'm hoping that most of you that are here will be able to attend.